Okay. So we're back. This is the Getting to Know podcast. I'm your host, Malik Moss, aka BOM Moss. Here I have with me today Executive Director Kayla Sweets.
Hello.
So, basically, what we're going to do is a podcast kind of interview. And I'll just be asking you some questions, getting to know like what you do and different things that, you do, the job details, background, stuff like that.
Okay.
Okay, so to start off, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who exactly is Kayla Sweet?
Well, Kayla Sweet is the executive director at Mosaic in Terre Haute. I have been here about 6.5 years. Being the executive director here means I handle all things operational for this agency. We work with folks with intellectual disabilities, so we are a residential provider for them primarily. So most of our folks, we have about 70 of them, live in either our group homes or they live in their own homes, and we go in and provide staffing supports for them.
Okay. So now tell me just a little brief background, right? How exactly did you start here? Well, matter of fact, let's start this. Where are you from?
I am from Paris, Illinois. It's about 35 minutes from here.
Okay. And growing up, what schools did you go to?
So I went to Paris High School, born and raised in Paris, Illinois, left, went to college, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, go Salukis. So went down there, got my bachelor's degree in rehab services. Really enjoyed the area. I had a professor that really wanted me to go on to grad school. I had a good job already, so I decided to go ahead and do that. Went to grad school, got my master's degree in rehab administration, and then from there I moved to St. Louis because I thought I wanted to live in the city. I did not want to live in the city. I started working as a voc rehab counselor. Didn't really care for that as much, didn't care for the area I was in, and started looking for jobs back home, and Mosaic popped up on my screen one day, and I thought, oh, I'll never qualify for that job. And I applied, and here I am.
Yeah, okay. So when you first came to Mosaic, were you what position were you doing? Did you come in as ED?
I came in as an associate director.
Okay, and what all does that pre-tell?
So the associate director handles all the operations as far as down in the program side of things. So they're making sure everybody's following the rules and the regulations, and then they step in for the executive director when they're out of the office.
Okay. And so how did you become the ED? What was the day that it happened or anything?
Well, my boss called me because my boss was at our South Bend location. That's where she hubbed, and then I was down here. And her boss walked in one day, and I was like, oh crap, this isn't good. And my boss called me and said, oh, put me on speakerphone, Nancy should be walking in. I thought, oh, I'm getting fired because I don't know what's happened. And they said, well, we're doing away with your position. And I said, okay. So I started packing my stuff. They said, no. They said, we don't want to have an associate director anymore. We just want to promote you to be the executive director. And I said, oh, okay, and started putting myself back together on my desk. I was like, okay, we're good. But basically, they were originally just doing one ED for the state, and then they had an associate director at each agency. Well, it just wasn't working out, and financially it didn't make sense. So it was easier to just eliminate the AD positions at each agency and then just have an executive director at each agency. So that's what we did.
Okay. So, as far as the company, now, what exactly is Mosaic?
So Mosaic was founded over 100 years ago by a Lutheran pastor that had a connection with someone with a disability. And he was upset at the way that they were being treated, and he wanted to do something to make a difference. So he had everyone put in $1. I believe we were founded on like $52. And he ended up actually meeting another Lutheran pastor, and between the two of them, they developed what is now Mosaic. We used to be Bethpage and Martin Luther homes, and they started in Omaha, Nebraska area, actually Axtell, Nebraska. Our corporate office now is in Omaha, Nebraska, and we are in 10 states. So we're all across the country.
Okay. So how many? So you all take care of individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many individuals roughly do you think that you all take care of?
So in all of Mosaic?
No.
Or
so
just here?
Tarrant.
Yeah, in Terre Haute, we have about 70, give
70?
or take. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, kind of going just a step back with as far as like your background, right?
Mm-hmm.
What were some other jobs you had? Like what was like your first job?
So my very first job, oddly, was when I turned 16. My cousin had an at-home business where she sold stuff on eBay. She would go to different garage sales and things and pick up stuff, and then she'd sell it on eBay. So I would go in and do all the pictures for her and package everything. I learned everything about the postal system, and we shipped stuff out on eBay and made very good money at 16 doing that. So I was pretty blessed. I got to like make my own schedule and stuff, so I was kind of spoiled early on. Then I went to college, and I actually got a job at a place called Neuro Restorative, and it was working with individuals with traumatic brain injuries. So I was a direct support worker. For 3.5 years I did that, and I loved everything about it, and that's what helped me really get interested in this field. I grew up with my mom's sister. Kim had a disability. I always really enjoyed her. Everybody else was scared of her, and I just thought she was hilarious. So I spent a lot of time with her, and I still do. And so once I got my job at Neuro Restorative and I started really loving it, I changed my degree in college and ended up going this route and things. I originally wanted to be an occupational therapist, so changed to rehabilitation, and here I am.
Okay, so I know, with a company like this and being an executive director, you have to have a degree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what college did you go to? What university did you go to?
Southern Illinois, Carbondale.
Okay, and what is your degree?
So I have a bachelor's in rehabilitation services, and I have a master's in rehabilitation administration.
Okay. And so with those, like, what are like the I don't want to say the limits, but like what all jobs entail do those degrees go with?
So really anything social services, long-term care would be a big one, which is kind of what Mosaic falls into, is that long-term care category. Nursing home administrators, working for the state government entities is a big one. With rehab administration, there was a counseling route you could go, so I didn't choose to do that, but some people did, and so you could be a rehab counselor, or mental health is a big one, and drug rehabilitation is a big one that a lot of my colleagues have went into, but I always wanted to stay in the IDD field. I always did, something along these lines. So I have definitely lived my dream.
Okay, so going a little more in depth into being the ED, what is the most rewarding thing of being an executive director, like this job in particular? Like, what is rewarding?
Well, I think there's two sides to it. So the individuals we serve, when you see them light up and they're happy, and you're fulfilling all their dreams, and they're living probably the best life they've lived ever when they're right here in your services, that'll take you a long way in this place. I love seeing them light up. I love seeing them get excited over the simplest thing, right? So, but I think on the other side of it, I've really enjoyed developing leaders. So as we've brought in new team members onto the leadership team, and I've been able to kind of help them with their skill set and become better leaders. And some have moved on to get other jobs, and they're doing very, very well. And I'm always happy to see their development and see them become really good leaders. And even if they don't stay with Mosaic, which makes me sad, they go on to other places where they're really making an impact and a change, and that's awesome.
Okay. So then, what would you say first? Okay, what would you say as far as like being an ED is the hardest thing? Like, what's difficult with being an executive director?
Well, we're people working with people, right? So there's a lot of days where people aren't always the nicest. So you deal with a lot of different things. And you deal with people that you think are good people and they're not. So some of maybe your very best employees that you think do a great job end up being the ones that can do bad things that you would just never imagine. So we've had some pretty bad cases where people have been very abusive and hurt the individuals that we serve. And so that's always very, very difficult and a hard pill to swallow, because you don't ever want anybody to hurt anybody else, but you just don't always know people.
Okay, so, with working comes, funds, money. Without getting anything personal, no specifics, what is like a good rate of pay for being an ED?
Being a director, it's generally, 70,000 and up.
Okay.
Somewhere between 70 and 90,000 is probably a pretty, in this area. Now if you went more to like the city, you're looking at more like six figures, but in the area that we're in, that's pretty common, somewhere between the 70 to 90 range.
Okay, now as far as like, let's say I wanted to become an executive director, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say I wanted to, I'm on a journey to becoming someone that's running their own company or a top boss. What advice do you have for us? Like for me or anybody?
Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't change everything overnight. So, I think that a lot of people, when they become leaders, they just want to change everything and make it so wonderful just right off the bat. And I think it's all about sticking with things even when times are tough. And the longer you stick it out, the more results you're going to see.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions I have for you today. I thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. One more thing. So, like, what's the next for Kayla? Like Kayla Sweet, the ED. Like, what is like your next journey?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No, I'd like to do. I think I would like to do something that's more of like a regional director. So maybe over more agencies than just one. Kind of overseeing executive directors. I think I'd really enjoy that in the future. But only time will tell.
All right, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be it.